Good morning, Malcolm Nance.
Good morning, Steffi.
I thought of you all day yesterday. I think the first tweet I read was from Jennifer. Russian mercenaries give video tour of abandoned U.S. base in northern Syria, laughing at the hasty U.S. retreat, showing unfinished meals on dining tables and heavy military equipment left behind, a Russian propaganda coup. And as they raise the Russian flag. your thoughts, sir?
The United States surrendered yesterday to the Russian forces. That's the only way to actually describe this. Not only, this is utterly amazing. They left the chow halls full of food, vending machines full of sodas, and all of our heavy equipment. They were given the order by the president to leave the country sight unseen. And of course, usually all we take is our ammunition and our weapons. It is an utter, absolute disaster for the United States in foreign policy. And all I say is this, and I know I tweeted about this the other day. Whoever the next nominee for the Democratic Party is should shove this video in the face of the Trump administration and Republicans day in and day out. That they surrendered literally to Russia.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you said this. You said the GOP have officially and literally surrendered to Moscow and Syria, pulling down the American flag to raise Russia's, and the ISIS flag again, right?
Yes, and the ISIS flag is now flying back over Syria. We know that at least in one instance, 800 of their fighters escaped from Kurdish control because the Kurds had to run to go defend their families and to stop a massacre from occurring. All of this is a travesty, and it was easily understandable. Everyone knew this was going to happen. Another thing that is interesting, and I've read reporting on it, I've heard Richard Engel discuss it, is that the highest value ISIS members who were in our captivity were turned over to the Kurds, and those people, the top leadership of ISIS that were captured, might escape or be let go. This is an absolute disaster. It's like everything for the last 4 years has literally been thrown out the window because Putin told Trump to do it.
I mean, Malcolm, I don't know if people know, but before you wrote The Plot to Hack America, The Plot to Destroy Democracy, and the brand new, what do we call it? The Plot to Betray America, you wrote the book literally on ISIS.
Yep.
And so, and you tweeted yesterday, one thing that was saved was ISIS's global media network. They're back to day one. I mean, it is astounding what this man has done in terms of Putin's wish list, Erdogan's, in a week, right?
Yes, in less than a week. He did it in a day.
Yeah.
In one day. You know, there is so much behind that phone call. We are going to have to find out what was said there. What did he get out of that? What was the quid pro quo? Within days of him pulling out, he had Stephen Miller and others out there convinced him to send out that tweet about, Godzilla versus Mothra and let them fight it out. Well, that was his entire attitude. That was precisely his. At that point, we had only pulled out a few hundred special forces soldiers. Then within a day, all 1,000 U.S. support personnel, contractors, intelligence personnel, special operations people literally flew out of the country. It's an absolute disaster. It's an absolute disaster. And ISIS is now going to be flying their flag and fighting and carrying out terrorist attacks. The worst part, this forced the Kurds to join the Assad government army.
Yeah. I mean, and as Nancy Pelosi said, and you've said many times, all roads lead back to Putin.
Yeah.
This from Deadline White House yesterday. We ran into some Kurdish villagers, and they asked us, "Who are you?" We said, "We're from American television." And they said, "Oh, Americans, cowards." I think it gives a fair reflection on the way the Kurds feel right now. You said this on AM Joy this weekend, Malcolm, so eloquently. This is not on Trump or Republicans. This is on all of us now. This is on Americans. And, as you and your whole family have served this country, for decades in the military, this is just makes your heart sick, doesn't it?
Well, there's no differentiation to the rest of the world between Donald Trump and the U.S. citizen. It is us. We are him. And you know what? It's as simple as this. You voted for it. That's how they talk, the pro-Trumpers, you know? And no, we didn't vote for this. Less than a 24% of the electorate actually voted for Donald Trump. Here's who I blame. And I'm going to get very explicit about this. Any person who did not vote for Hillary Clinton is responsible for this. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you think that you were in a safe state and that you were out there doing a protest vote or, you know, putting out there that you thought Jill Stein was better or Weld was better or you wrote in Bernie Sanders. You're responsible for this. Here's another group of people that are responsible for this, right? Every one of the 50% of the American electorate that did not even bother to go vote, they're responsible for this. You know what? Now the American flag is being sullied. Donald Trump's still out there bragging that he's the best for the military. We literally got disgraced the other day. And
and salt in the wound, Erdogan saying, screw you, no ceasefire, and no, I'm not going to meet with Pence or anybody you send. I mean, he has made Trump his bitch on the world stage, just like Putin has, and it is humiliating.
You know,
Kim Jong-un?
in my new book, The Plot to Betray America, the second chapter is about Vladimir Putin. And you know what the name of that chapter is? Vladimir Putin, a man with a leash.
Yeah.
Chapter 3 is Donald Trump, a dog to be walked.
Yep.
And now this book outlines all of the national security compromises that he had done, that including the Ukraine and Saudi Arabia and Yemen and Iran and Turkey, all of this. And we find out yesterday that Rudy Giuliani had taken up the mantle of Michael Flynn and was looking to get Fethullah Gulen, Erdogan's enemy, who lives in Pennsylvania, to get him extradited again.
Same thing Flynn's in prison for.
Are bought.
Yeah.
These people bought.
Richard Engel, you know, I mean, I just can't imagine how. I thought of you all day yesterday, Malcolm, but, you know, he reports from over there. This is a shocking dynamic that history will not forget. The Kurds say they are facing ethnic cleansing by a NATO country, Turkey, as U.S. forces nearby have no orders to help, only orders to defend themselves and leave northern Syria. I mean, how we undo this ever again, it is a shock. That's a good word, shocking dynamic, right?
It is an absolutely shocking dynamic. And what's happening here is you are watching him literally sell the United States, okay? Because nothing's done over there for anything less than real money. It's not done for love. It's not done for power. In that part of the world, the only thing that I can think of that Donald Trump would dance to is the fact that 2 years ago, they removed the words Trump off of Trump Tower, Istanbul. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see the name come back on top of the building. And that was the reason that he sold all of this out. Look, this requires an impeachment inquiry to get to the bottom of this. Yeah. This thing isn't going to go fast. We will not see an impeachment with one article of impeachment. This is going to be impeachment articles by the dozen. Yep. Because you know what? If we don't, we are lost.
Yep. Malcolm, quickly, going to your point of whoever didn't vote for Hillary, two words for you, Tulsi Gabbard. Jennifer Rubin said, Tulsi Gabbard is blaming everyone but Trump and Syria. Remarkable. Scott Stedman said it's a fact that the Russian talking point for years has been that the United States arms al-Qaeda in Syria. Tulsi Gabbard just said it on national television. And one last one from Anna. Gabbard is lying. U.S. troops in northern Syria were not there for regime change war. They were there to deter Turkish aggression against Kurdish allies until there was a safe zone recreated. Her dishonesty here is gross.
Who are the people voting for Tulsi Gabbard and giving her money? Who? I would really want to find out who they are. If you're on my Twitter feed and you support Tulsi Gabbard, block me. Get off my Twitter feed. Okay? I do not need Moscow's candidate involved in this game. We already had spoilers that almost broke the Democratic Party and gave us Donald Trump. You know, she's just another one. I'm sorry.
I said this last hour, Malcolm. I wanted to get your take on it. Because we've talked about this, that, how we know Russia has obviously got its tentacles everywhere in this election now is, we were saying that Kamala Harris apparently had 3 times the amount of Russian bots attacking her initially, because I think Russia and the Trump White House thought she was the biggest threat. And then there goes Tulsi Gabbard to drop the entire opposition research book on her in the last debate. And sadly, I think it's worked to some degree. But I just keep warning people, Malcolm, whoever your candidate is, Russia's going to come for them. So we just need to be aware of what's happening, right?
No, you know what? Nobody gets out of this alive except Donald Trump. Okay? These people are using every tool in the book. The Russians, Trump's data team, his vigilantes, all the people who just want to damage the Democratic Party, like those great liberals, Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi, right? People who only attack liberals, only attack the Democratic Party.
Yep.
Those crazy ADOS people who were the ones who started this Tulsi Gabbard is not black enough to be voted, we're finding as these people are supporting a voter suppression campaign that's telling blacks not to even come vote.
Yeah.
All of this has been seen before. Now we're getting it 10 times stronger. Everyone has to rally around the flag, and we have to put an end to, this destruction of our country and our Constitution.
And it's coming. You talked about Fiona Hill testimony. You said, wow, Sondland is trapped now. It's his word against his word. The walls are closing in. How You Can Stand With America is order now. The new book, The Plot to Betray America. Let's push it to #1 on New York Times and Amazon. Get the word out. Team Trump has been selling us out and betraying our national security to Putin, Saudis, and others. Martin Sheen, President Bartlett, has something awesome to say in the foreword. Why, I can't believe you chose him over me, but good.
Martin who?
I'll tell you. Martin Sheen is President Bartlett, and his forward is the best part of that book.
He and his wife Janet, they love you to death, Malcolm, and have been. I told the story about Malcolm giving you, Martin giving you rosaries, for your wife, and he is. I'm so glad because you're right. Even though it's a fictional character, it's like he's a patriot like you are in real life. I'm just so glad that we got you all on that wall right now.
Saint Martin of Malibu is a real person.
That's right. All right, honey. I'll see you next week, and I'll see you at Politicon.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Yay.
Okay, bye-bye.